Well, hello again out there YouTube. My name is Greg. It's Greg's Mowers and More. Welcome to the channel. If you haven't been with us before, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video. Anyway, what I like to do here is I like to find older lawn and garden equipment, stuff that's been neglected, put away for a long time, or just stuff that's, got something interesting going on with it. Maybe a problem somebody else can't figure out. But anyways, I do it all for the glory of God. Try to give you guys a little bit of Jesus in there. Because he is my Lord and Savior. He saved me, and I'd like for him to be able to save you too. So anyway, this morning we're working on this lawn boy, model 7350. I got this in a package deal with a whole bunch of other lawn boy mowers that you're going to be seeing here on the channel that are going to be coming through. This one here, the guy said that it started on starting fluid. Other than that, he didn't know much about it. It's got some really ugly, incorrect wheels on it. I was out here yesterday setting this thing up here for you guys, looking at it. And I would say somebody made like a donk out of it, or one of those cars with the big ridiculous wheels. But anyway, let me give you guys a quick flyover of this thing, and that way you can drink it in, and then we'll get started. So anyway, it's an aluminum deck. You can see the corrosion right here. These old aluminum decks, they corrode real bad, but they don't ever rust out, so it's a good thing. It's nice vintage lawn boy plastic fuel tank with the center spinny thing. So here's those wheels I was talking about, and they're just totally wrong for this application, but they do kind of look cool. When I brought this thing in here yesterday, it was like 3 inches off the ground. I'm like, wow. So that was pretty crazy. But anyway, I think she's going to be a pretty good mower. We'll see if we can get her to fire up and see if that guy was actually right or not. So there's your model tag on her, model 7350. This one is not a self-propel. And then as you can see, the pull cord's up here. Primer ball's all the way up here with your bail handle. It's something kind of interesting that Lawn Boy did. Some of them also had an electric start with a key switch up there. So I'm going to set you guys back up on the tripod over there, and then we're going to start digging into this thing. Being an older Lawn Boy, it's obviously a 2-cycle, so there's no engine crankcase oil to check. Lawn Boys run 2-cycle mix. The older ones run about 16-1. This is a bit newer. This should be 32-1. I have a gallon of that mixed up. First thing we're going to do on this though is we're going to pull that plug out, and we're going to get some lube in that cylinder because we don't know how long it's been sitting. We don't know when the last time was that, this thing ran. I mean, the guy said that it pulled over and fired up on starting fluid, which on these Lawn Boys, starting fluid's not a good idea. Carb cleaner down the throat, really not a good idea either. They have to have lubricant in the cylinder to be able to run. Otherwise you'll score the cylinder up and then the engine's basically worthless. You'll have to get a new engine. A little bit, it can probably stand that, but I wouldn't recommend it on something that's been sitting for a long period of time without oiling it up first. So we're going to get in here, yank the plug wire off, which it's corroded in there. Pretty corroded.
Is right now your new boat. No disrespect to the USS Rust-Oleum here, but this is ridiculous.
This one probably sat outside for a good bit of time. Uh-oh, I dropped it. Alright. Well, it looks like a Lawn Boy plug should. It's oily. It's not all carboned up though, so that's a good thing. Oh, I'm out of Freol, so we got no choice but to use the PB, which is not a bad thing. I don't mind PB. It's pretty decent stuff. Just give her a little bit in there. And then what I like to do is I'll tip it up. That way it kind of goes down in the cylinder, doesn't just run back out. And then we'll just come under here and give her a couple of rolls here. Just kind of circulate that on the cylinder walls and help to free this piston up. Might actually need to give it a little bit more. Still kind of Still kind of stiff feeling. Just fill her all the way up and make all the smoke. Because that's what a lawn boy is about with a 2-stroke burble. There we go. Oh yeah. Set her back down. Give her a couple of pulls here just to clear that cylinder out. I can hear compression, so that's a good sign. Next thing's going to be checking for spark. It does have a little bit of carbon on it. There we go. So we're going to put this plug in here. You guys may or may not be able to see this. I need to go get my spark plug checker actually. I don't know if I got it out here or not. I do actually. This is a spark plug checker. You can get them at Harbor Freight. You can get them online too. And what that allows you to do is you can actually leave your spark plug in the cylinder. If I can get it back in there. There we go. I'm not quite awake yet. Already running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I only got about an hour out here this morning because I got to go pick the boy up from football practice here in a bit. Dropped him off at 6:30. Pick him up in a little while. All right, so we got our spark checker in there. We're obviously going to have to bail full back. Check that. There's that. Give her a whirl. Alright, I'm seeing flashing, so we got spark. And this thing has definitely got, feels like quite a bit of compression. So that's a good thing. I'm excited for that. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to fuel. And these old lawn boys, they need clean fuel. I'm just being honest. If you don't have clean fuel in your lawn boy, it's not going to run, or it's not going to run right. So they do need good fuel, and you need to use good oil in them. So let me flip this around again, so that way we can get you guys on the intake side here. Got my little, oh, what do you call it, wedge, whatever. Right here, this is where your air cleaner is going to be. So, oh, coffee is my friend. Love coffee. Little clip there, top it off. Little cover will hinge off. You can see how dirty that is. Now these have oil bath air cleaners. These are oil soaked. Back of it's nice and clean though. All right, and then in here is your air intake and your carburetor. There's a little fuel line up under here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that or not. But at any rate, we want to, and there's an open and close here. Petcock, right now it's open. So we're going to close that. And then I need to get a pair of pliers and see if I can't get that fuel hose off of there. Let me see if there's actually anything in the tank on it first. That might be a better idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that first. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's stuff in there. Okay. Tell you what, let me try to get this out. And we'll take a little fuel sample here and see what's actually in this thing. Because I can tell that it's blue. There might be water in it. Could be any number of things in here that ain't supposed to be. But let's just get in here and get a fuel sample. See what we got. If it's had any fuel left in it for any length of time with ethanol in it, it's probably not going to be good. Carburetor will probably be plugged up. And these are kind of famous for getting water in the fuel. Fuel caps they got on these things are not the greatest. I think we got most of the fuel out of it. Hopefully you guys can see that. See the separation? See the blue at the top? That's oil. See this down here? Straight water. Yummy. Not good. And that happens because there's a little tiny hole in the top of this fuel cap and right here for the vent. When it rains, water gets in your fuel. It's really nice. That's why I do not recommend storing lawn and garden equipment outside. Not a good thing to do at all. So, since we have water in the fuel and the petcock was left on, that means our carburetor has water in it, which is not good because it will probably have to come apart. However, before we go to all that trouble, I do want to see if this thing will just bark off. Now you've seen me lube the cylinder full of PB Blaster, so we know this engine has lots of lubricant in there. So we're going to give it a shot of carb spray down the gap and see if we can't just hear this thing bark off just for a second. Just so we know for a fact that we have an engine that is ready to run with a little bit of carb work. So there goes nothing. If I can get her, she pulls hard. See, that should have lit by now. Huh. We'll go ahead and yank the plug back out of it. Maybe we oil fouled the plug or water fouled the plug or something. I don't know. At any rate, it should have lit. We do know we got sparks. Then again, we might have reed valves that are froze too with water. Oh yeah, she's definitely fouled and oil soaked. All right. Give her a different spark plug and see if that helps. Maybe give her a little carb cleaner right in the cylinder. Oh, I got a song stuck in my head this morning. It's a good thing to have a song in your head and your heart. No, I don't think I've asked this question in the last couple of videos, but how you guys doing out there today? Hope you and your families are doing well. Things are going well for you. I know it's kind of hard in this world lately. There's just a lot of stuff going on that's not good. But there'll be some brighter days. I'm confident in that. Okay. So, now let's see what we have. Now that we have a plug that's not oil fouled, know we got something burnable in the cylinder. Oh yeah. Alright, so she licked off a little bit on that, so we know we got enough compression to run. I think the next thing we're gonna do is pop the top off this. It makes it a little bit easier to work on. We got 4 screws right here, Phillips heads. Hopefully my Phillips bit is still in here somewhere. Hopefully. There it is. My tools are a mess. Alright, here we go. I had another one of these mowers, I don't know, probably about a year ago. I wish I wouldn't have sold it. I think these are pretty cool looking. I mean, I know they're not I know they're not the brick tops, because everybody wants a brick top, but I still think they're pretty darn cool. I love lawn boys. Love them, I love them, I love them. All right. Oh yeah, that's right. There's one screw right back here and behind the tank I forgot about. Come on. Wish my motor skills would kick in this morning. Alright, then the tank should just come up and kind of fold over. Go. You got that. Took that tank outside and shook out what was left in there. Alright, I went ahead and set you guys up so you can get a better look. It's not going to be a perfect look, but it's better. Inside here, there's supposed to be 2 caps. I've already removed one, so you can see it's a plastic cap. Then the other one, they can be kind of stuck in there. So those block off the back of your air filter housing. And then back behind here are 2 Phillips head screws that are going to hold your carburetor on. So we're going to reach through here and just turn those screws out. Get them out of there. And then they can just sit down on the deck. Okay. 2 screws is all it holds this carburetor on. And we're going to kind of gently pry on it. It's going to come off of there, come down. And then we have our primer line here that runs over to here and then up the handle. So we want to try to get him off if we can without breaking the carburetor here or the line. There we go. And then you can see we have this gummed up mess of a carburetor. I mean, it is just a mess. I'm going to have to get a rag here, kind of clean this up before we go forward. Alright, well I got it somewhat less de-scuzzed, but it's pretty scuzzy, so I'm going to use one of my new shop rags here to kind of clean her up a little more. Yes, this is in fact a old pair of my underpants. I told you guys I had some underwear that were about done for that I was going to use for shop rags. Some of you didn't believe me. Now you know I wasn't kidding. So, we're going to try to de-scuzz this as much as possible, but it's pretty rough. This thing has obviously been on here since this mower was new, I probably believe. And we're leaking water out right now, which is not cool. We might have a froze up needle and seat, I'm guessing. So anyway, let me get you guys a view of that. We got 4 Phillips head screws in the bottom. You can see that water dripping out. That is straight water. That is not a good sign. So there's 4 Phillips head screws in the bottom of this. We're going to pop them out. Uh-oh, get on there. There we go. ahead and get them out. And yes, these carburetors are plastic. And yes, they do sometimes warp, so they will suck air. Oh yeah, there we go. Just come right off. Yuck. Okay. They got this little screen protector on here. This is supposed to come off. And it did. And then there's your main jet. Here's your bowl. Needle valve is actually working still. So yeah, you can see that working. So that's good that it's not all rusted up. All right, so let's lift that up a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and pull that out. What I like to do is set all my pieces in the bowl as it comes apart. All right, and then here's our needle valve. She actually doesn't look too awful bad. Probably caught her just in time. Now, so here's your valve, needle and seat right here. You can see it's got a mark in it where you can take it out with a screwdriver. This is going to be your main jet, and there's an orifice tube in there if I remember correctly. So I need to go get, here we go. I did set it all down here. I wonder if I remembered or not. So let's go ahead and pop out our needle and seat. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. Pop out the needle and seat here. Well, the seat, the needle's out already. Oh, okay. Sometimes these come out, sometimes they don't. But we're gonna get them out today if we can. All right, so there's our seat where our needle goes into. And you can see it's all gelled up and nasty. Gross. We're gonna set that in the bowl. Let's take out our main jet here and our orifice tube. And I'll bet you she's plugged up and gummed up too. Oh yeah. All right. So there is what they call your mixer tube, orifice tube, and it's got holes here, little tiny holes, and a hole that runs all the way through it. So if those are plugged, it's not going to run right either. So we're going to set those in the bowl. Go ahead and spray them down with some carburetor cleaner. I just kind of like to fill the bowl up and let them soak a little bit. Just kind of let it eat some of that varnish and rust and other gook out of there. And while that's soaking, we're going to pay our attention here to the main carb body. And we're going to go ahead and start blowing through these holes here and getting some of this crap out. If you see a hole, blow through it. That went right in my face. So go down through here, make sure you get all the gook out of there. There we go. Try to get as much trash off of this as you can. Sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes they're just too scuzzy. So we're just going to clean her up real nice. And that should be about it for the carb body. I mean, it's just a hunk of plastic. The jets do all the work, really. All right. So the next thing is, if you don't have one of these, get yourself a torch tip cleaner. This is what I use on all my carburetors. And we're going to go ahead and pull this main jet, orifice tube, whatever you want to call it, out. And we're going to start with our smallest wire. I really hope I'm getting all this on camera. And we're going to pass that up through the jet and make sure we can go all the way through. And we can. Next, we're going to go through the holes on the side. Make sure they're open. This only has one hole on each side, so that's good. Then after you get that through, you want to keep going up till you get to your biggest size you can get through there. And just make sure that it's open. If it's just open in a little bit and it won't get all the fuel through, it's going to run lean. You're going to have a surge. And those can be some of the most annoying things ever. Surges. Nobody likes surges. I don't like surges. I've only had a few of these carbs that I haven't been able to save. And one of them was because it had a warped body on it, and the other one was just because it had water in it and it's set for probably 20, 30 years. All right, so we got all our orifices open on that. We're gonna go ahead and blow through it all. And we're gonna plug one end and just make sure it comes out of those little orifice holes. Oh yeah, and I just blew it all over the camera. Sorry for that. That's nice and open and clean. So we're gonna clean that up, set it over here. Grab our other jet here, the one that actually lets the fuel in, and we're gonna go through him. Make sure that it's open as far as it can go. And we can blow through him. There we go. All right. Get out our needle and seat here. Spray it off with our needle. Next thing, we're going to take this here carburetor cleaner, and I just want to set my float in there and see if it's actually going to float. These are cork floats, so I mean there's no reason why it should sink. Floating, I can see that. So that's good. Set him to the side, grab our little pin out of here. All right. Next thing is we're going to dump all this carb cleaner out, get rid of it. Okay, spray our bowl out real nice. Get every bit of that gook out of there so that it's nice and clean. And it looks pretty clean. Clean the screen up, blow through it, all the stuff off it. All right, and then the next step is going to be reassembling the whole thing. I got to shut you guys off though. I got to check the time because I got to go get the kid here pretty quick. All right, still got a couple of minutes yet. I'm just trying to do what I got to do here. Oh, I wish this would go around that, and it should. There we go. Come on, fuel line. Okay, fuel line is on. All right. Line up and get our big one back here in. Start it with the drill. Got it started. Now we'll put our top back on. See how this one runs. I might have to keep it around a while, just for nostalgia's sake. I do like these. I know a lot of people don't like these because it's probably from the 80s. You know, it's not an old brick top, but I'm kind of fond of 80s stuff, 70s stuff. I just like stuff, I think. These back screws are kind of a pain, I'm being honest. Okay. Alright, let me get my tools and stuff out of the way. And we'll dump some 32 to 1 in it and see if we can't get her to pop off. Alright. I think it's the moment we've been waiting for here. Time to try to fire this thing up and see what it's going to do. So, I've only got a couple of minutes till I got to leave, but that's all right. I'm going to push the primer a few times. Should be good. Pull our bail back and see what happens. can't get a good pull on it that way. Too close to the wall. All right, here we go. Sounds like a lawn boy. Runs pretty good. All right, I'm gonna have to leave, and then when I come back, maybe we'll see if it won't mow some grass. All right, well, as you can see, I got quite a weed problem back here by the boneyard area, so we're gonna see if this lawn boy won't take some of these out. I got it set up pretty high on these donk wheels somebody put on here, so hopefully a bunch of this real thick, heavy stuff won't go up in there and, you know, hurt it. So let's see how good she's gonna do knocking down some weeds, because that's what these things are real good for. doing what a lawn boy's good at, clearing brush and mowing and burbling away. Good running old mower. Real good running old mower. Might have to adjust the RPMs on a little bit though. It seems like it's running a little lower RPM than I think it should. However, a simple carb clean and some lube down the cylinder, she's up and running again after sitting for God knows how long. But anyway, if you got the chance to get you one of these old lawn boys, they're simple to work on, easy to maintain, and they're great mowers. I can't say enough about them. As long as you run good oil and good fuel in them, they literally last forever. That's where I'm going to leave this video at, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. Have a great day and God bless you.